Yes.
Oh, you're here. This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't belong here.
Now, if it isn't the prodigy, well... Yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good work, even though part of her report seemed to be a bit... enthusiastic. But I'll leave the judgment to Arantheal. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest. In the Emporium, the last building on the left side of the temple. Just tell the guard that Arantheal has asked for you, and they will let you in. Ah yes, before I forget. My dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for you. It's your choice. Do you want a book, an old map, or a bag of pennies? Very well. Now, get a move on. I'm sure we'll talk again later.
Shortly before he did it.
Sorry, but I don't really see what you're going.
I'm just trying to say that, well, maybe we all should be careful. Maybe it was Euro's grief.
There you are. Magister Karras has been looking for you. As if they'd ever listen to me.
It is a suspicion, Tealor. And to send an entire division across the sea because of a suspicion is madness.
We need to find out who sent the mercenaries. This Pegast said that they were after the Signet Stone, and if they succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how to stop the cycle.
The cycle? Listening to you talk almost makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad dreams you and your Neremese friends had.
The threat is real. Deny it as much as you like, but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Tealor, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts. You have made this mistake before, Tealor, back then in Kira. And we all know...
The mission will happen. I'm sorry.
You have a visitor.
So, you are the prodigy everyone is talking about. Interesting. I am Tealor Arantheal, son of Lorius I and Grandmaster of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. What is your name? Yes, and I will come straight to the point. You are here because I believe that you are special. Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped, and to achieve this, you are indispensable. Among other things, yes. I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Vin is chaotic. The wars, the living dead, common people who are losing their minds, to name only the most obvious. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I. I do, and I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this is. Come, follow me. Maybe you already know who I am. My entire life, I served the god Uldvin, Until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death is my son, Tealor Arantheal. He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom, so he strived to overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Tealor won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nehrim. I still do not know why he spared me. There were circumstances favoring the development, but it's a long story which we won't discuss now. Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nehrim, I also had them for the first time, the dreams. I always saw the same glaring, terrible light. Heard screaming, and I felt like I was burning up from the inside. And above all, like a veil, there was the knowledge of imminence. At first, of course, I dismissed these dreams as the delusion of a man close to death. So I concentrated on making it through the mountains somehow. 2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if a former acolyte of my son had not found me. Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains. The others were aware of my identity, but for whatever reason they did not kill me. Maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know. Still, even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first, I doubted my sanity, but after some time I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about them. And he said something that I'd never expected. I was not alone. He, as well as many others magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory. A collective subconscious. Yes, I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers in the remains of the civilization that was before us, the Pyreans. 3 things. First, there were many civilizations before us and before the Pyreans. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. Second, the history of each civilization unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace. And third, everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance lies ahead of us. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end. I see why you would say that, and I've felt the same way for a very long time too. But there came a moment when we simply could not deny it anymore. We began to study the history of the Pyreans more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrean Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vin was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also, the Pyreans had a ruling caste who declared themselves gods after the catastrophe. The two castes of the Sun Priest. They, too, ruled until they were overthrown. This overthrowing was followed by an outbreak of wars and chaos. And then, just like that, the Pyreans ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing. They tried, but they failed. Who knows why? Maybe they found out too late, or maybe they were too weak. That is the question we need to find an answer to. The end was not violent, at least not in a sense as we know it. There was no natural disaster, no magical explosion, no plague. Even though there was war in the Pyrean Empire before its ruin, when the cleansing happened, it was as if all living beings simply fell down and died. It is ghastly. Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well. Yes, the Pyreans call them the Emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an answer to the Red Madness. And I am one of them, as are you. While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on the role of the prophet. It's just a description. Call it what you will. But without doubt, it is the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly. Yes. Former enemies or not, both sides have understood the magnitude of the threat. The magical knowledge of Narazul's former mages is vast, as is the power of the Holy Order. Even though not all of the Keepers agree, as you probably have already noted yourself. On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. I assume you have already realized this. On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future. Your visions are a window into the past, and as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with, and because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us, and it is why I want your help. That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die? Good. However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our order, and to do so, you have to pass a test. A trial. It is the trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take it too. At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival. At the border to the Heartland, near the Whisper Wood. They will be waiting for you there. Take the Myret, talk to Signet Master Bartar, and hand him this package. And then follow his orders. Oh, one more thing. It might be self-evident, but keep your knowledge about the death of the Lightborn to yourself. I do not believe you can do any real harm, but in the worst case, path-abiding people will consider you a heretic. After the cycle has been stopped. No, leave. The sooner we can dispense with this formality, the better.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't belong.
Oh well, Naya, isn't that a sight? The one they all talk about has come to visit us. Greetings, Prophet. I'm Juslan Sharim, and, as you might know already, one of the ever-renowned Neramese mages around here. What's your name? An unusual name for a half-Eterna, but a good one, nevertheless. But anyway, what brings you to me? Do you need anything specific? Or do you just want to talk? What, are you asking me to teach you? From what I've heard, you know magic as if you've studied it for centuries. But sure, why not? What do you want to know? Shh, don't talk so loud. You know how our holy friends around here feel about this school. We don't want them to get upset, do we? Sinistra. It's the mightiest of the three schools, but also the most dangerous one, which is why practicing it is forbidden on every continent of the civilized world, except for Kiran. That is mostly due to the kind of eventualities it interacts with. The human psyche and the forces of life and death. Someone trained in the arts of psionics is capable of forcing his will onto others, and I'm not speaking metaphorically here. An able entropist, on the other hand, can revive the dead as his minions and channel the energy of death. A stunningly powerful feat if you know what you're doing, and a stunningly suicidal one if you don't. This is also why only 5 of 10 students of Sinistra manage to master it. The other 5s either stop in time or end up as either a driveling lunatic in an asylum or as a greenishly steaming skeleton. Both of the latter rather undesirable perspectives, if you ask me. So if you plan to use it yourself, just be careful. A thaumaturgist is able... he can also boost... a very aggressive and powerful school, as you can imagine. Most Arcanists favor it above others. One day, yeah. One day.
Oh, you're here. I thought you were in the city.
No, the Archmagister ordered me back.
Walk blessed.
Feels good to be here.
I don't doubt
What?
that. I still can't believe that really happened. Brother Yarrow, he was such a good man.
I don't think the Red Madness cares much about that.
I will honor
Probably not.
in life as in death.
I wonder how it happens.
Yes.
The infection.
What do you mean?
Well, the red eyes and the obvious madness
Yes.
only happen in the
Yes,
last
that
stages
just
of the
might
disease.
work.
What happens before that? And how? How can
Is
one
it now?
tell someone else
Remind me
is
not to
afflicted?
burst into tears.
Why? Scared you've caught?
This
Watch yourself. The streets aren't safe this time of the day.
Huh? Keep walk.
What?
My sir?
Greetings.
Penny, my sir. Please, just one penny.
An obolus, my sir. Please. The Lord will redeem you for your kindness.
War on Nerum. War on Kile. Red madness. The fuck is wrong with this world?
Move along.
What? Well, yeah, that's what I'd call myself. Even though I'd wager those fine Mysers and dames of the sickle would disagree. Let me put it this way. If you're looking for equipment, I'm sure I'll have a thing or two which might pique your interest. And I'm not averse to a good find of yours. Borrowed items? I'm not sure what you mean. Well, yeah. Let me put it this way. If you're looking for borrowed items, I'm not sure what you mean. Safe travels.
What?
My sir?
Walk blessed. Oh, does he now? Good old Milbert and his silver tongue. Now he's found himself a lackey to do his dirty work for him. Let's make this short. I'll keep the key. No idea what he told you, but it wasn't the truth. Because if it were, you sure as fuck wouldn't be here. Milbert, I'm sure he told you about the raid in our village, didn't he? Well, there's one thing he didn't tell you. After those fuckers killed our parents and tried to break into our house, he left me behind. Took all the valuables he could carry. Just ran away. If I hadn't managed to flee, he wouldn't have shed a fucking tear for me.
But since fate was so kind to me, things turned out differently. I made it out alive and walked all the way to Ark, where I thought he was.
So, you'd think he was glad to see me when I found him in these tunnels, wouldn't you? Well, you're wrong. He let me sleep in the room he paid for from our parents' money, but made me feel as if it was a privilege. And guess what? That hasn't changed. Until today. Yes, he pays for my room in the barracks, but that's about it.
Good pocket pays for it. Why is that stuff so expensive?
Well, that's just how he is. Always talking.
Worth it. It has been far too long since this asshole has seen the mud of the Undercity. I survived. That's more than most people around here manage. And please, spare me your moral speech. I'm done with. I know that. But it doesn't change the fact that it's Milbert's fault, too. Are you deaf? I said no! But obviously, I need to put it another way. Fine, I get it. You win. I'll tell you where the key is. But don't expect too much. The money's almost gone. Close to the entrance of the pit, there are some barrels. I hid it there. Go. And do what you have to do.
My sir?
Mm-hmm. Penny, my sir. Please, oh, Penny.
Keep walking. Burns. Blazes, damn it, this is ridiculous.
It's cold and white. 30 for sheep. Not one thing less.
Oh, let the flesh maggots have you.
May your path always be even, my dame.
What? I don't see how that concerns you. Don't you have some theatre play to attend to, Sunchild?
Help me?
Well, I doubt that. That is unless you have a pouch with 300 pennies to give away. Oh, and maybe 2 sheaves of God's tongue to go with it. You're really nosy, you know that. But fine, what bad can it do? That son of a Virtue over there, Cabal Thorwald, he's the only merchant in the Undercity who still has Vinroot in his stocks. But since he knows that, he sells it for a price that would have upper city snobs running away screaming. Well, and if the apothecary in the pest house doesn't get new roots soon, the infected they treat there will start dying like flies within a day. You're no alchemist, are you? Aye, red vine root is the only thing that can help get those flesh maggots out of an infected body. I repeat, can. Even with a proper treatment, most people don't make it through. Maybe you could, aye? I guess it'll be worth a shot. We need at least 10 sheaves so that the apothecary can make use of them. And I don't want to seem ungrateful, but don't expect to get anything in return for your help. Huh? Well, fine then. Good luck.
Fit.
Just need one good haul.
Walk blessed.